In the second part to the site plan page, we're going to add a couple dimensions. In your default tray, expand dimension style, and you'll notice that everything is grayed out and you can't really do anything here until you come over here and select the dimensions icon on your toolbar up here. So select that, and you'll notice that a few things up here start to become blue. Then in your shape style category, expand that bar. Come down to where it says start arrow and end arrow, and we're going to change that to an architectural tick instead of the little black dot there. So select this and come down to this, and both of these are going to be the / because you have a couple different ones here. So go ahead and pick the / there, and again for here pick the / over here on this side. And now back to the dimension style. In the extension lines category, we're going to change the gap to 0.0625. So just highlight that, and you can backspace. So 0.625, and we're going to do the same thing with this one. If you just pick on it, it'll remember what you typed there, and it'll automatically set it to there. We also need to change the gap here to length on both of those. So now we should be set to dimension our lot size, both the length and width of it. So make sure that you are still in your dimensions icon up here, and I will pick on the corner, and I will come up here, and be careful because you have two lines that are really close together. So always zoom in and pick the correct one. And I like to zoom out again, and this distance here, you can look down here as the offset, and I think you can type it in, but for right now you can just estimate it to be about right there, and that's good. So if you look down, it's about 3/4 of an inch, so that's good there. And again, zoom in for this other dimension, select there, and come over here to pick that one. And again, this is going to be about 3/4 of an inch. So it kind of locks onto that, what you did before, and I'm going to pick there. So make sure that you have feet here and feet here. If you have anything else other than feet, it might be measuring the piece of paper distance from here to here, and it'll say, oh, I don't know, 8 inches, 6 inches, whatever that is on the piece of paper, but you want to be measuring your lot size in reality, which is in feet. So just those two dimension lines are good for right now. Now we have a few more notes to apply to our site plan here. So you can pick on the bar here and collapse it, and pick on your text styles. And if it says anything other than the original text, change it back. So we want the Swiss 721, I think it's this last one here, and bold. And let's see, it was LTEX. That's the one, and bold. And for the main notes, as far as the residence and the notes, the name of the notes box that we'll do here, we'll leave it like this. And I think we'll change it to, let's see what 12 points looks like. We can zoom in, switch it to our text icon here. And if it switches back like that, that's because this was set at this previous, and that remembered the same setting here. So you can switch it or leave it like that, that's fine. So make sure it's just bold, and we're going to type in residence here. And so I would just select it and position it right now and see, okay, that's a little too big, so we need to change that from 12 to, let's try 9, and that's good there. So I'm going to center it in that box there, and that looks good. Now before we add the rest of these, I want to come over here, and if it's on 12, I'm going to switch it to 9, and this is, you still want it unbounded, and it's anchored top. This time I'm going to maybe anchor at the bottom so I can kind of line it up with the other one. So I'll do that. Same font, bold, 9 points. Make sure we do that. And then from the bottom here, if we zoom in, we can kind of see that it's roughly aligned with, now it might be locking onto the tree here. So I would use the grid points again with this, or the grid lines. So the bottom of the E is roughly maybe just below this bottom line here. So if we pick over here, this will be good. And then again, residence. Back out, we can adjust those in a bit. And then do it again here with this one. Yeah. Okay, so you might have to adjust these slightly. And again, you can use your arrows. I think that's a little better here. So that looks good. And then for our other text here that we're going to use the same font is the word notes. So I'm going to come down here and again just type notes. And then once we do that, I want you to switch it from this to the EXPT Roman. And in this one, we might have a little smaller, so let's just go with 8 points here. All site plans have some notes, and we'll just have 4 simple ones. And we have to first establish the finished floor elevation height, and that is typically the top of the pad, the concrete pad that the house sits on. So in here in the notes, we'll start with the first one. So just type 1 and then space and then finished floor elevation, and then we're going to give that as, we can adjust this later, so 0, 0, and then enter. And then for number 2, it's going to be walkway or pathway and sidewalk. That's going to be the same. So again, 0, 0. Now don't worry about it going up into the notes area. We'll adjust all that. 3 is going to be the grass elevation. That. space over a little bit, and I think that was -2 inches, so make sure you put -2 inches. And then the last one is the street elevation. Sure you spell it right. Elevation. And that one's going to be minus, I believe it's 2 inches. It might be 4 inches. I don't remember. So I'll just put 2 inches there. No, actually it's 4 inches because we have the curve there. So I'm going to put 4 inches. Okay, so again, just pick outside somewhere, and with your select tool, select those 4, and then again with the arrows, just move it down and back to the beginning of the N on notes. Okay, that looks good, and what I'd like for you to do as well is to put a rectangle around that. So I'm just going to go to my rectangle command and pick somewhere here. Now if you have a really thick line like that, that means that we have to change it, and we go up to shape here. It's set at 8 points, and it was remembering what we did for the borders around our photos. So we want to change that. It's a little too thick. So let's change that back to let's try half that, 4 points. Okay, now this one's already set, so we're going to delete that, and it's set at 4, so we'll try it again and see what that looks like. That looks a little better. Back out of our view. It's still a little too big, so let's get rid of that and change it one more time to 2 points. Let's try that. I'm sure that'll work. Again, notes. That's better. And what I'm doing here is I can move this around, but I'm trying to line this up with this. So if I finish it like that, I can select the whole thing like that. And maybe this is a little too close, so I can select that and move it back a little bit. And the notes as well. I can backspace a little bit. Oops. I hit erase. Like that. And if I want to, I can just draw a line underneath it. That's too big, so let's just change that to 1 point maybe, or something like that. So that looks okay there. We'll back out of our view, and I forgot to label the grass in the street area. And we'll just use the same font as we did this here. So if we select that, that's the Roman 8 point, and we'll come back up here to text and label our grass area. So just kind of center it up here. So it's going to be grass area. And then over here, it's going to be just the street name, or just street. There are many more notes in a real true-to-life site plan, but here I just want you to get familiarized with all of this stuff over here. So again, we're going to have over here, again, on here, just grass area. And again, select it and get a little close to it so you can see it. So what I want you to do is line up this kind of all in the center, so we can go off of this one here. This one, let's just do that a little bit to the right. Okay, and a little bit more. And then this one here, off to the left a little bit. Okay, so that's pretty good there. You can either center them all like that, or you can line them up with the left side of the G here. And I'll leave it like that.